the wheel to actually make this cake, that we would wrap it in cream together. I have here my stand mixer, my whipping cream, my powdered sugar, and of course my vanilla extract. You can use almond extract if not vanilla, but we tend to like vanilla better here. So I almost missed the beginning of that live because I was on a live for the Mosaic Ferry wheel to actually make this cake, that we would wrap it in cream together. I have here my stand mixer, my whipping cream, my powdered sugar, and of course my vanilla extract. You can use almond extract if not vanilla, but we tend to like vanilla better here. So I almost missed the beginning of that live because I was on a live for the Mosaic Ferry wheel to actually make this cake, that we would wrap it in cream together. I have here my stand mixer, my whipping cream, my powdered sugar, and of course my vanilla extract. You can use almond extract if not vanilla, but we tend to like vanilla better here. So I almost missed the beginning of that live because I was on a live for the Mosaic Ferry wheel to actually make this cake, that we would wrap it in cream together. I have here my stand mixer, my whipping cream, my powder. Okay, I think I was open twice on the live. That's okay, I'm learning. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm gonna start again. So this cake is for Miss Amber. Her channel is Digestis5. She is the biggest foodie I know. She loves food. She's actually a food critic, a big of a thinker too. And her birthday is coming up next week on the 18th of August. So she asked for a cake for her birthday. It's gonna be a cake around food, of course. So she wants it to have like a table cover, a little burger, a little piece of pizza, fries, maybe a taco, maybe a piece of cake, or whatever I'll be able to make in some colors. I've tried to make this cake in a drawing and basically see how we're gonna have our cakes underneath. I'm gonna add the table cover in fondant and then her favorite food on top. So that leaves me with fondant that's gonna be white, red, brown, beige, dark brown, green, and yellow, I think. So it still has some cohesions. I will be making those pieces in fondant later today. If you want to do another live while we make fondant like we would do Play-Doh, let me know and we can do this, of course. Right now we will focus on covering her 3-tier cake in whipping cream that we will whip with my stand mixer. And as every time I make a video, I'm not too good at salut, bonjour Selina. I'm not too good at explaining what's the recipe of that whipped cream. I will do it right now live so you guys understand when I say that I measure everything with the heart. So in your stand mixer, you will put approximately 4 cups of whipped cream. But see, I go approximately, I'm not measuring nothing. Bonjour. And as I knew this would not be enough, I have the second one here for us. Here. So I almost lost track of time and missed the beginning of that live before I had my sound issues, because I was on a live for the Mosaic Ferry, who's another friend on YouTube. And I was so captivated by what she was saying that I completely missed that I had a live too. Okay, so I have approximately 4 cups of whipped cream in here, whipping cream. I'll just sprinkle a little bit of powdered sugar, probably approximately 2 tablespoons, let's say. That's it. Doesn't need for more. All the sugar is going to be in the fondant. You don't need to overload the cream, but it's going to help it to fluff. And then approximately 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. My vanilla extract needs to be gluten-free. Pardon the color of my baking clothes. You can tell I've been baking a lot. So I always use a gluten-free one. You guys, if you're not gluten-free, you don't need to. But my vanilla extract is quite pure for that reason. There's nothing else added. It's probably vodka and vanilla. That's it. So we'll lock the stand mixer. Don't do like me because you'd have a surprise. And then you go slow first because you want your sugar to get in, so you don't have like a cloud of sugar. Ma journée s'est très bien passée. Merci. So this live is going to be in several languages because I will answer in the language that people actually ask. And right now I was answering to El Cufinit. Enchanté. And once your sugar is actually in your cream, you go to number 4. And you'll see some splashes. I wish I would have one that has a little lead here, but it will do, because when I use so much cream, then of course it would be easier. So as this goes, it's gonna probably be like 10 minutes. Let's go back to our cake. So I will want to build it in a way. I will want to build it in a way that Miss Amber will have an amandier, a chocolate cake, and an amandier. Usually Namandier are more sturdy cakes, so they'll have a flatter top, which is what we want if we put some pieces of fondant or sometimes another cake on top. So, and as you can tell, the chocolate cake is going to have more of a top, or will be curved. The Namandier will be the other side. So we'll just try to make them marry each other so it puzzles the best way possible. One of my cake broke yesterday because I tried to do the second Namandier too fast. What you usually want to do is you leave on the stove a cake that's just out of the oven, so it has the time to set at room temperature before you remove it. But since I only have one mold of that size, and I want it to go as fast as possible for the second Namandier, I removed the Namandier that was just baked straight away and put the other one in the oven straight away, and I broke the first one. But it's okay, the cream is gonna hide it, and in the way that the cake is gonna be decorated later, and it will have the same taste, in the way that the cake is gonna be decorated later. Merci pour le cœur. That's the Mosaic fairy saying, I'm sending you a heart, because I almost missed my own life to be on hers. So this table cover is going to be able to help us hide anything. So there's no pressure as to how this cake is going to be wrapped in cream and then in fondant, because I'll have the table cover afterwards. Just it's better to cover the cake under the actual table cover because we don't want cream out. They're speaking to each other. They're like, Salut Caroline. Yeah, you gave me the strength to actually do that live and schedule it like 30 minutes in advance. Okay, so our cream is not ready yet. It's still making bubbles. As long as I don't see the strays, I know it's not ready. You just don't want to go too long on whipping your cream, because what you want to avoid is, I mean, it literally becomes butter if you leave it for too long. I read Salut Michel. So yeah, so I want to alternate the chocolate and the Namandier. I'm gonna give you the recipe of each cake right now because we're not making them together. I mean, it's too long of a live. But the Mosaic Fairy is like having a whole conversation on the chat for those of you interested. But so for the chocolate cake, it's basically like a cap. Everything almost is 200 grams. So you're gonna have 4 eggs, 200 grams of chocolate. I use chocolate chips or a chocolate plate that I break, and I usually melt it with the 200 grams of butter, using salted butter because I don't want to add salt, and we only do salted butter. And then I'll have 3 soup spoons of your flour of choice. So in this house we're gluten-free. I'll often use almond flour. If I use almond flour, it means 2 spoons of almond flour and 1 spoon of tapioca charge. Or I will use a 1-to-1 mix, exactly like I would wheat flour. Usually it's made with rice. It's this one. So it counts as a 1-to-1. It completely replaces wheat. It's pre-mixed. So this one doesn't need starch added. And it's gonna be 3 soup spoons of that, or maybe 3 soup spoons of the wheat flour if you're not gluten-free. Super simple to make. You put it in the oven that's preheated at 350. You leave it for 10 minutes, rising in temperature at 392 or 400 degrees. And then once it reaches the 392, basically after 10 minutes, and it has risen, you lower back your temperature to 350 and you leave it for 14 minutes. And you have an unmissable cake. I never failed it, except once when I made the first video about it, that I burnt the top of it because it was too high on my stove, on my oven. So this is for the chocolate cake. For the Namandier, I should know the recipe by now. I'll try to remember like that. Is 1 cup of sugar, just like with the chocolate cake, sorry, which is 200 grams sugar. 1 cup of sugar. Thank you for doing that. This is gonna help a ton because I usually don't give big heads up. Not much ahead of time. So the Namandier is 1 cup sugar, 4 eggs again, 100 grams of butter, which I use salted butter. I will usually add, and you have to know before I say this that I do not drink, not 1 sip of alcohol, nothing. I only drink Perrier and 5,000 coffees a day. But this is the secret ingredient of the Namandier. It's Armagnac, which is the real stuff. And I add 1 tablespoon into the mix, and then 2 cups of almond flour, and that's it. And the order of the ingredients do not matter. You just put them in, you mix them, blend them, stir them, you say it the way you want in English, and then goes in the oven that's already at temperature. The Namandier bakes at 400 Fahrenheit for approximately 25 to 35 minutes. The way you know if your Namandier is ready is with a knife. Okay, if it's out without any dough on it, it's ready. No batter, it's ready. So very simple. As I'm giving you those little recipes here, our cream is getting ready. I'll go a little faster. It's gonna be more noisy, but it's gonna help for time purposes. So yeah, so I will put those recipes in a description. Thank you, the Mosaic Ferry. Very nice of you. I didn't try, trust me. I will put those recipes in description, and also the Mosaic Ferry and Amber's Digest This channels, so you can take a look. Our cream is getting there. I start seeing the design. I'm gonna show you. See how it starts leaving like stripes on top? This is how you know that now you cannot go do something else. You need to be next to it so it doesn't have the time to become butter. We'll help it a little bit by scraping the edges of the ball so every single piece of cream is going through the, if someone can put the name in The chat would be awesome. I do not know in English. C'est gentil de t'être garé pour voir le direct. Moi, j'ai presque loupé mon live pour voir le tien. Okay, that cream is ready. And it's gonna almost stay on it. You see it? Okay, now I almost want to eat. Let's see. So it's not falling. Now you know it's ready. If you go further, unfortunately, because you're doing something else, you forgot about it, like I tend to do because I'm ADHD, it becomes better. Trust me by experience. So you don't want to do that. As soon as you see some lines on top, you want to be next to it. Okay, so let's display our cakes. And we'll try to make it that we can alternate chocolate and Namandier. So Miss Amber has a piece of each in her birthday cake. So this is going to be the final platter, right? I'm not going to change the plate to deliver it to the restaurant where she's going to celebrate her birthday. So the cake needs to be sturdy to the plate. To make it sturdy to the plate, I'll start by just throwing some cream here, because this cream in the fridge is going to be acting like glue. It's going to keep the cake to the plate. The other thing I'm going to be careful with is to center the cake to the plate, because once the cake is on, it's not going anywhere. So you do not want it on a side and then it's not pretty on pictures. Or should you do the mistake like I did for Jean's 101st birthday, to not center your cake, you can just add decorations to one side and it feels like you did it on purpose, even though you didn't. But so here. So the cake I'm gonna choose for the top of the 3-tier is gonna be the flattest. And right now, I think that this one's not bad, but this one was broken. That's the one I just removed from the platter a little bit fast. So I think we'll use the other one. We'll put the broken one on the bottom so it doesn't go nowhere. Here. So I'll center it to the plate. See, it's dividing itself. So I'll just do it this way. So the cream is holding it together. Okay, so now I want to center it to my plate. Super important for later. And again, if I missed it or seen it, I will just add maybe fries or a Coke in fondant to the side. Here. I'm getting compliments on this chat. Now I'm going to turn red. Big time. I'm gonna blush. Okay, so here you put some cream in between, not too much, it's not needed. The cakes, for being with almond flour, are super moist already, so it doesn't need an overload of nothing. Because this is a Namandier and we're able to finish with another Namandier, we want to put the chocolate cake second. And we want to keep the whatever's too high from my chocolate cake and too low in the middle to actually nest with this one that is a little burnt on top. So it remains a flat cake, right? You want it leveled. So we'll add cream in here. And I want all my cakes to be aligned to the top, because if it's not, it looks like the Peace Tower. You know the Peace Tower? I think I'm talking about it in one of the cake videos, because I actually made a Peace Tower and I was like, how come I could not see that bad? The Peace Tower is a tower in Pisa, Italy, and when you look at it, it's completely tilted like this, and you think that the architect potentially was, or the contractor was completely drunk when they made it, and it's like a piece of art, but it's not straight at all. It goes to the side. And it's super well known for that reason. It would have been straight, would have been going unnoticed, but because it's not straight, people remember it. So maybe I make a cake that's not straight, so I get the notoriety. Yes, maybe he was drunk. Exactly. I don't know if it's my YouTube translating everything in French or if it's you guys translating everything for me. Which, thank you if you are, because it's helping. Okay, so here you see that my cake was not flat on the bottom, but I have this little bump. It's gonna just marry right here, my chocolate one. I'm not gonna press too hard because remember, I had broken some of the cake under, so I don't want it to go. But all that hole here is going to be filled with cream. So let's do it this way. So now I think it's straight. And we'll just use the cream in big quantity. My kids would be here. They'd be like waiting to be able to lick that. Here. So now we'll put some cream. And we don't need to be precise. Plus none of us has the time for that. We put it here. This is online. You can't see your cake ahead of time, Miss Amber. She's so gourmand. If someone can translate gourmand would be awesome. She's so gourmand that she's coming to see how the cake's gonna look. And see how I put it on a spinning plate? And I'm not equipped, trust me, this thing is in marble. It's supposed to be for decor, but right now it does the job. So this cream here that's falling to the side, I'm gonna use it to go around my cake. And that's where I don't wanna make a tour de Pise. Here. And then I'll turn around my cake until all my holes are covered. So we don't see no issues of level. No gaps. Voila. And once there's enough cream all around, then we'll just spin it. Right now, there you go. Was it tour de Pise? And the cream that falls to the side, it's okay. You'll just reuse it for the bottom of the cake. And I use a paper towel to clean my platter afterwards. I don't have enough dexterity that it's gonna be done straight away. Perfect. Plus, if you have a spatula that would not be in silicone, because I do not use plastic for health reasons, but you have it in metal, it's gonna work better. Just I didn't get one yet. And then usually the excess of cream that's left, I either actually give to Miss Amber or I give to my neighbor Tiffany, who loves it in her coffee. And then for the past 2 years, I've been taking it to San Diego because I have another coffee lover that actually loves it in coffee. But it's pure whipping cream, a little bit of powdered sugar, and the vanilla extract, nothing else. Again, the sugar is in the fondant, you guys. You don't need to add too much in the cream. And because the cakes are very moist, see, I'm not leaving much cream around the cake either. And so for your top to look good, you need to use, if you have a spatula like mine, a paper towel. So you're starting with a clean spatula. And then you'll go inside like you would make flower petals. So it does your edges straight. In our case here, my edges need to be slightly rounded because again, I want to make a table cover. If I can disclose and this is gone for the design, but because I want to make a table cover on top of the cake and it looks like a real table cover, it needs to be slightly rounded. But right now, let's just make the cream the way we would do any other here. Okay, so we can add a little bit of cream because we're missing some here to the side, so the angles are not good. And until it's good, you don't stop. Your whipping cream needs to be cold. So once it's ready, you want to apply it straight away. You don't want it to go to the fridge. And then you're like, oh, I'll do it in 2 hours. I've tried, it's not working, it hardens. You guys are communicating among each other. This is awesome. I love that. I think that's good that a live becomes a place for discussion. And it makes it way more interesting than a video, actually. Okay, so see how our cake starts looking like a cake? And now you have like your base for your fondant to be applied on top. Which, again, I mean, for Jean, I did not do a fondant dress on top. It was just cream. So I was really appliqué, right? I didn't want it to not be straight, to show any stripes, or because I have 2 different cakes. So usually the chocolate cake is going to stand out. It can look beautiful if it looks on purpose, but I mean, but in this case right now, this cake is going to be covered in fondant afterwards. I'm trying to do it on your side so you see. So I want to just perfect some defects. It's perfectly imperfect, but perfect some defects here. See how I don't like that? I need more cream here. I don't want that bump. But since I'm adding some cream here, now I need to do the whole tour again. So you'd rather have too much cream than not enough in every single angle. Oh. You're saying this so I go faster? I'm not celebrating my birthday in advance. Es mala suerte. Already, I don't want to be already another birthday. You know, sometimes you get to an age and you're like, I wish when I thought that I was old 10 years ago, I would have realized I was young or younger than now. Even though I never really cared about that for some reason. I think that's the beauty of not completely being aware of everything and being slightly on a cloud. Okay, so I had to add some cream a little bit all over because of that little piece that was missing on top. And now I'm gonna go straight and try to call this done. And as we make cakes together, you'll realize that I'm actually adapting as I go. I'm not a professional baker. Nobody here is pretending to be a professional. So last time I made the flowers for Jean, I had never made flowers in fondant. Right now I'm about to make tacos, burgers, fries, popcorn, pizza, slices, cake portions, noodles, in fondant on top of her cake and table cover. I had never designed none, and I have never made none in fondant. So as I make it, I may realize, oh, I'm not able to make the fries box. It's gonna go without the fries box, and we'll find another creative idea. You want to see the design again? Here, the drawing. I just made it during your live. It's a Mosaic fairy. Just a few minutes before mine. I already had the design in my head though. Okay. So now let's try to make this with no glimpse. Otherwise, I'm gonna think that every time I make a video, I cannot make it like I usually make it. Way easier. I make it on my side because it's easier, you guys, sorry. Otherwise, we're still there tomorrow. And we want to have that cake ready for Miss Amber's birthday. Okay. So this is not bad. This is definitely getting there. I just have this little stubborn piece here. That's because my cream is natural. You should see, right now I'm using the organic, heavy whipping cream. Most of the time it's an A2 cream I'm using, and it's way harder to work than the industrial one I can get at Raf's. That's way whiter too. It's way lighter in color. It's not even the same cream. But I mean, we're making this cake for Miss Amber, has to be perfect in terms of type of ingredients we're using. Remember, she's a food critic. Like, I want a good critic on that cake, Miss Amber. No pressure. Here. So this is the cake. It's now covered. It looks really messy, not just the plate, the bottom of my kitchen, everything. So we'll take a piece of paper towel and we'll wrap up this live. I look happy that I'm making cakes. I try. I mean, it's for a good cause here. Miss Amber placed an order, so the cake has to be ready. But so see, because this is like natural cream with probably no magic ingredient added to it, it's just slightly harder to work. So I'm gonna cheat with my finger right here, and it doesn't matter because I'll wrap up fondant until under so it never leaks. Even if during transportation, which is the part that stresses me the most, is when I have to deliver a cake. Because I trust my baking, but I don't trust my driving. And anybody who drove with me understands what I'm saying. I mean, there we go. This is your cake, Miss Amber. Everyone, I'm ready to make my fondant. This is gonna go to the fridge for approximately 2 hours while the fondant is being made. I'd love to see in the comments if you wanna participate and I do live for some of those pieces of decor that we will be doing. So again, I have to do, for those who just arrived, a cheeseburger, a taco, maybe a wrap, a piece of cake, fries, Coke, and I tried to draw it as good as I could. All will be onto a table cover, and maybe because I'm French, some of it will be on little plates. We'll see if it fits, because it's not a big cake. We definitely want Amber written on the table cover, and if I can, considering the size, I'll still write happy birthday or HB or happy B-day, but we'll see what fits, because all my letters are the same size and I stamp them, and that's probably the only thing I stamp. Anything else I do with a knife. And a few of the tools I have here, but I use one knife. I have no molds for almost nothing. When I do, I'm so happy I show you. And I have a little poker here, so it helps me. But other than that, I have my letters that are stamps and they're one size, so I have to adapt to that. Thank you for watching. You let me know if you want to see the fondant part. I put in my reach. I think I have to reach to stop the live. I'll try to smile more.